April 15, 1912. The RMS Titanic strikes an iceberg and sinks in the North Atlantic. 1,517 people die. The story becomes a legend, a movie, a cultural obsession.
But in the 4 years around the Titanic, 3 other giant ocean liners sank. Each carried more passengers, each killed more civilians, and nobody remembers their names.
This is the story of the Titanic sisters. The White Star Line built 3 sister ships, Olympic in 1910, Titanic in 1912, Britannic in 1914. The Britannic was the largest, 900 feet long, 48,000 tons. The safest ocean liner ever built, redesigned after the Titanic disaster with a double hull and higher watertight bulkheads.
When World War I broke out, the Britannic never sailed as a luxury liner. She was requisitioned as a hospital ship, painted white with red crosses. Her job was to carry wounded British soldiers from the Gallipoli front back to Britain. November 21, 1916. Britannic was steaming through the Kea Channel in the Aegean Sea. At 8:12 a.m., a massive explosion tore through her starboard bow. She had struck a German naval mine. The crew had opened portholes on the lower decks to ventilate the hospital wards. Water poured in much faster than any designer had planned. Britannic started listing hard to starboard. Her captain tried to beach her on the nearby island of Kea. He never made it. 55 minutes. That is how long it took for the largest ocean liner in the world to sink. Titanic took 2 hours 40. Britannic went down in less than an hour, because the Aegean is shallow, and her bow caught the bottom while her stern was still above water. She snapped. Only 30 people died, most because they lowered lifeboats too early into the still-turning propellers. The Britannic had been empty of wounded, carrying only a skeleton crew. 910 souls escaped the largest and safest ocean liner ever built. She rests today at 390 feet in the Kea Channel. Divers have visited her hull intact, but bent in half, since 1975. Her bell still hangs in a British museum. Her name is barely remembered. 3 months after the Titanic sank, another ocean liner went down faster. May 29, 1914. The RMS Empress of Ireland. Canadian Pacific flagship. 570 feet. 1,477 people on board. In a thick fog on the St. Lawrence River in Canada, the Empress collided with a Norwegian collier ship called the Storstad. The Storstad's reinforced bow cut a 25-foot hole straight through the Empress's starboard side. The Empress sank in 14 minutes. Most passengers were asleep. 790 were in third class, 4 decks below the waterline. They had no time. 1,012 people died. More passengers than the Titanic, twice as many children. The Empress of Ireland disaster happened during the same summer that the Titanic was still newspaper news, but the world was about to forget it completely, because 2 months later, World War I began. The ocean liner sinking was pushed off the front pages by trench warfare. 1 year later, a civilian ocean liner was torpedoed, May 7, 1915. The RMS Lusitania, Cunard Line flagship, 840 feet, 1,962 people on board, crossing from New York to Liverpool. 11 miles off the south coast of Ireland, a single torpedo from German U-boat 20 struck the Lusitania below the waterline. A second, much larger secondary explosion tore through her bow moments later. The Lusitania sank in 18 minutes, less time than the Empress of Ireland. Her list was so severe that only 6 lifeboats launched successfully out of 48. Most passengers were thrown into the North Atlantic wearing pajamas. 1,198 people died. 128 of them were Americans, including 123 passengers traveling first class who drowned in the icy water because Cunard had ordered lifeboats left unreachable on the upper promenade. The Lusitania became a propaganda symbol that pushed the United States closer to entering World War I. 2 years later, America declared war on Germany. Millions would die. The Lusitania had been, in effect,
the spark.
The fourth sister is a strange one, the RMS Olympic, the Titanic's older sister. Built first, served longest, survived both world wars, 2 collisions, one with a British warship in 1911, one with a lightship in 1934, killed 7 people in the second collision. The Olympic was scrapped in 1937. Her woodwork was salvaged and installed in an English hotel. Today, you can eat dinner in rooms paneled with Titanic-era mahogany, the only physical survivor of a disaster that killed her sister.
Add them together: Titanic, Britannic, Empress of Ireland, Lusitania, 4 gigantic ocean liners, 3,757 deaths in just 3 years, an era of maritime travel that ended almost overnight.
Each of the 4 was the largest or fastest or safest of her time. Each was supposed to be unsinkable in her own way, and each became, in the end, a lesson about the arrogance of the people who designed her. The Titanic is the story we tell. The iceberg, the string quartet, the old couple, the movie. But her sisters sank in ways that were uglier, faster, and in the case of the Lusitania, deliberate. The ocean has more bodies than Hollywood will ever know. The Titanic rests at 12,500 feet. Her sisters rest at 390, 150, and 300 feet. They are all reachable by modern dive teams, and they are all forgotten. Subscribe to SALT Files and help us remember them. New episodes every Monday and Friday.